Well, have you ever been in a friendship that you knew had run its course for you? You were seeing the signs, you weren't enjoying the other person as much as you used to, but you weren't quite sure if you should just hang on, hold on, and keep the person in your life, or should you end the friendship and move on. Well, hi, I'm Laura, and welcome to the channel. I hope you'll subscribe and drop a comment and let me know if this has happened to you. So I was at a luncheon, a couple months ago, and I was listening to a very good speaker talk about the signs that a friendship has run its course and when it's time to pull the plug and move on. And I did get a little chuckle because I guess she was in her young 40s and she was giving really good advice, but I was listening to that advice as a 65-year-old plus woman. And I thought it was interesting how I look at friendship differently than she looked at friendship. Of course, I'm looking at now as a pretty semi-retired woman whose circle of friends I think will quite naturally shrink a bit over time. I mean, let's face it, the older we get, we lose friends to death. We lose friends who retire and move away. We leave our jobs. Many of us have been in positions with the same company for a very long time and thought that when we left, those relationships would come along with us. And now we're finding out that they don't always come along. And so how do we keep connected to people so that we're not alone, so that we aren't lonely if we don't want to be? So let me start with the speaker and what she shared, because I think she had some valuable points. And none of her points rose to the level of being in a relationship that was abusive in any way. These were just friendships that had run its course. And here were some of the signs that she said to look for. You find yourself not excited that you're getting together. You even find yourself with a little bit of dread, like, I hope this goes well. I hope she doesn't bring up X, Y, or Z. Number two, does she become critical of you as time has gone on, telling you you've changed? Oh, you never used to be like that. You never would have said that. You never would have shopped there. It's these little pecking at you, but it's their way of letting you know that whatever the problem is, it's you and not them. Number three, you feel very drained, exhausted, tired once you get in the car to go home. The person no longer fills you up. They just complain. They talk badly about people in your circle or people that you used to know. And sometimes, like I said, that criticism is aimed at you, but sometimes it's aimed at other people that you care about. And so you find yourself just being so grateful when coffee's over or the event is over, because a person just brings you down. The connection is gone. The things that brought you together, the things you shared in common. I've noticed, living in a very family-centric city, I've watched so many women kind of part ways because what they had in common were their children, right? They had their children's sports, their children's activities, maybe the kids played together in the neighborhood. But once the kids grow up and move on with their own lives, the women over time realize that all they really had in common were the kids. And you see that because you find it almost like tug of war, trying to pull information out of the other person, trying to open up a conversation. You get a lot of yes and no answers. You get them looking at their, at their phone when you're trying to get them to share or answer a question or just find something new and interesting to talk about. And sometimes they're just not that interested in connecting with you any on anything new, because what you did have in common is gone. The other thing, and we've had so many comments about this, but you find out after time that your values have changed or your politics has changed. I think that's really tough for women in particular, especially older women. You know, I grew up when we didn't talk about money, we didn't talk about religion, and we didn't talk about our politics. Well, that's not the world we live in anymore, right? Even if you don't talk to a friend about their politics, if they're on social media and you're on social media, even if all you do is scroll, you see the posts, you see what your friends share, you see what they say. So oftentimes their politics and their values are in your face because you have access to information from them that you never had before. And like I said, it may be a friend that you've never even approached the topic with. It's not part of your relationship, and you find yourself resenting your friend because of something they posted on social media. So we tend to hold on a little more when we become older because, of course, our circle is quite naturally shrinking. When I was a 40-year-old woman working full-time, 3 kids in school, lots of new experiences ahead of me, I wasn't as concerned with friendships kind of coming and going, ebb and flow. You're friends for a reason, you're friends for a season. But as I've gotten older, I find myself holding on to the people that I do have a good connection with. And it made me think, like, what if that started to change? What if I found out something, or they changed, or they started telling me that I had changed? What is your tolerance level? And for each of us, it's different. I would say that in my friendships, and I'd love to hear what you think, but in my friendships, I've just told myself not to be so judgmental anymore. It is a struggle sometimes. It is different than maybe I was as a younger woman. But if I enjoy doing things with a particular group of people or a particular person, I want to hone in on what I enjoy doing with them, and I don't want to second guess or look for problems in other areas of our friendship, because I find that everyone's doing something you don't agree with, right? I mean, and you're doing something other people don't like or don't agree with. I mean, we're not all the same by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to keep people in my life, and I want to have relationships as I get older. I want to have friends when I'm in my 70s and in my 80s. You know, I have a friend who I shared in one of my other videos, I have a friend who battled a very serious illness, and it really got my attention. I honestly did some soul searching. What's important to me in a friend? What do I value about people? What am I willing to give to get? What are they willing to do for me? You know, it's this back and forth, and there are other things in friendships that are so much more important. It's sad to me when what you had in common is no longer there anymore. And I know it takes effort to look for new things, but what I would go back and tell that 40-year-old me, as I was looking at that speaker and thinking about myself back then, I would tell that 40-year-old me to start planning now for being 70 and 80 and hopefully 90. I would broaden my horizons whenever I had a chance. I would take a class. I would take an exercise class. I would walk with other people. I would volunteer with other people. All of the things that I find myself doing now are what is making a huge difference in my quality of life. And I would have told my 40-year-old self to start sooner than I did. I actually had kind of a rebirth, right, when I started having people in my life that I cared about get very, very ill. And even losing a friend can shake up what you consider friendship, what you want in your life, what you want your lifestyle, with other people, that connection to be. So don't be afraid to second guess, yourself, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to reconsider. I enjoy listening to these speakers, tell me what to look for and what to be aware of, but it's got to fit into my life and what I'm willing to hold on to, because I want those connections. Connections, friendship is different for all of us, but in an ideal world, we're comfortable with the decisions that we make. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I hope I'll see you next time. Please take a moment to subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comment. Have you ever been in a friendship that you knew had run its course, but you made the decision to keep the person in your life? Take care and have a great week.